Right, we are all set.
So I'll go ahead and introduce myself. My name is Helen Atkins. I am with the Harwood Art Center. I've worked with the Harwood Art Center since I was 18 years old, and this year I joined the core staff as the Associate Director of Opportunity, and we are here celebrating the first virtual 12 by 12 event. And Dani?
Yes, I'm Dani Belvin. I'm Director of Education for Harwood. I've been in this position for, this is my fourth year, but I worked as a teaching artist for Harwood before that. And I think I recently discovered my first interaction with Harwood was back when I was about 11 years old and I assisted
Oh,
with a creative roots class at what was then Wells Park Community Center and
oh
now
my
is
God.
Johnny Tapia Community Center. So
That's so cool.
yeah. So long history for both of us in all sorts of capacities with Harwood.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do we want to introduce our drinks? I don't know if you have your cocktail. I know I have
Oh, I
mine.
do. I do. What are you drinking?
So we got our ingredients, some of our ingredients from Tractor Brewing. Shout out to Tractor. They're longtime supporter of Harwood. So I got vodka and I decided to make, I don't even know what it's called anymore. I looked up like simple vodka drinks or holiday vodka
Awesome.
drinks. And I like just read through and I was like, I can do that. So I made some ginger cinnamon syrup and I mixed it with some vodka and club soda and some lime juice, and it's actually really really good. Like it's not too sweet but also like not super, like bitter or strong. Really good. Yeah.
Yeah,
What
I'm
about you?
not super into a sweet drink either. I also made a drink. My partner was teasing me, calling it a very hipster cocktail, which it turned out to be. So it's also using spirits from Troubled Minds, Tractor's distillery, and so I'm using gin, and then I have a couple of homemade things with it. I have a rosemary simple syrup I made, and then what is called a plum vinegar, ume vinegar. It's like the byproduct of making Japanese pickled plums that I made last year. So
Oh my god. That
that's
sounds so good. We have to like I was telling Jordan before this is like once the world returns to some kind of normal, we have to do like a crafty drink night because this was really
yes.
fun. And I have mine in a jar as well.
Oh, look at us, mason jar buddies.
Really hip, really hip. Awesome. So yeah, so we're here for 12 by 12. Do you want to talk a little bit about 12 by 12?
Yeah, so 12 by 12 is our annual fundraiser for Harwood. It's really the only fundraiser that we do every year. And it's in my opinion, as something that I really enjoyed about Harwood when I joined the staff,
Yeah.
because it's instead of something like a gala or something that is like completely unrelated to what we do. It's very, very rooted in what we do. And so I really like that about it. So what we do is we have local artists donate a 12 by 12 piece that they make, 12 inches by 12 inches. And then kind of the fun of it is that it's anonymous. So we open the exhibition and then people purchase the pieces without actually knowing who the artist is in advance, and I think that that part is really fun. And in years past it's been this huge thing at the Harwood with people lining up in advance and lots of food from local restaurants and businesses, and a really big community event. And we knew that this year we were going to not be able to do that, and that it would be something that we would really miss. So this was kind of our opting how to do that in a digital realm. So our we have the online store, which is new this year, but the kind of the setup is very similar. So it'll open at a set time, and then it's first come first serve.
Hmm.
So something that is good to know for those of you who might be watching and want to purchase a piece is that putting it in your cart doesn't guarantee that you have it. So it's probably a good idea to put it in your cart and purchase it right away, one at a time, in order to get all the pieces that you want.
Yeah. And these would make great Christmas presents. I know people have like historically done that. And, you know, because each 12 by 12 is the same price, it's really cool to get like this high quality piece of art at a approachable price. And if you are wanting to get it for a gift for somebody you love, or, you know, one of your friends and family, we are having a pickup on December 12th so that you can get the 12 by 12, like physically get the 12 by 12 that you purchase before the holidays. So keep that in mind as you're looking around the store. Yeah, I like what you were saying about, you know, like 12 by 12s of times past. I was really thinking about that today, like as I was getting ready and getting in the mood for this, because I remember just like so fondly on a lot of Harwood's openings and gallery events, because a lot in my like early 20s, it was just like so much fun. It was like the beginning of the night for us. Like I remember I used to live like one block away, and we'd get all dressed up and we'd start at Harwood. And it was really cool because so many people in the community would be there, so many fellow artists. And it was just like a really cool um, place to connect with people. And I think 12 by 12 was like one of the big ones of the year, because there were always so many artists involved, and a lot of them would come to the opening, and also so many like collectors and people who want to buy the piece. So it was just like a really cool place to just get a little like snapshot of Albuquerque. So it's sad that we don't have that this year, but I feel like, you know, the web store and the catalog and the virtual gallery, we're sort of expanding our reach in a way so people can see this work and view it who don't necessarily come to the event. And I think that's kind of exciting.
That's kind of a nice thing in general about this move to things being digital, is that it really takes that barrier of accessibility down, which is cool. And then just a quick comment that I saw come up on Instagram, like, no, you cannot bribe us for us to hold you your favorite pieces, Eric Romero, or anyone else. And in fact, since we'll be here doing this, I can't even queue up my own piece that I want. So good luck. It's all first come, first serve. Just jump on it as quick as you can at 6 o'clock.
I'm having the exact same thought process right now. I'm like, there's a piece that I really, really want to get. And I'm like, as soon as we are done with this live, I'm going to, you know, feverishly type away to try and get it. So it'll be kind of exciting to see how this online platform like works in that way. So yeah. Speaking of Eric Romero, he's one of our artists, and we have about 100 artists, I think exactly 100, local, emerging, and established artists involved in this this year's 12 by 12. So I thought it'd be fun if we played like a little game, kind of. So I have this website that will pick from a random image from like a group of images I've selected. So we're going to randomly select a 12 by 12, and then we will talk about it. So I'll get ready to do that.
Yeah, and those of you who are joining us on Instagram, unfortunately, we can't do screen share the same way. So sorry about that.
But all of the 12 by 12s are available to look at on the website, and I'm going to be giving the names of the 12 by 12 that pops up. So if you're with us on Instagram, you can pop over to the website and look at what we're talking about. So
yeah, it's a great alternative.
Ooh, can you let me share my screen?
Oh, yes. Sorry about that.
Zoom.
There you go.
Okay. So I'm going to share the screen. All right. Are you seeing my screen?
Yes.
Okay. So let's pick a random image. Ooh.
Ooh.
This one is so darling. I'm pretty sure the name of it is Family, but I want to double check my, I want to double check. Yes, it's family. And this is, hold on just a second. If I get something wrong, I'm very sorry. I'm just looking at like an Excel document, and so I might mess up a title or a medium. But I've actually had the privilege of seeing all of these in person. So before um, the lockdown happened, the second one, we were able to work at Harwood intermittently. And one of the things that we did on site that I did was adding the backings. So adding the hardware to the backs of the 12 by 12s. So each 12 by 12 that you purchase is ready to hang. Some of them are actually framed. Some of the artists do that themselves, which is really, really nice of them. But yeah, so I was able to see all of them. So yeah, so it's just really, I feel like kind of like personally attached to every single one.
Yeah,
Yes.
it's a strange feeling for me this year because I have not seen any of them in person. So I'm just going off of the digital image, which a lot of you are doing as well. Um,
Yeah. So this one I believe is oil on canvas. It may be acrylic, and yeah, it's one of those two. But I remember when I saw it in person just being struck by how like realistic it looks, especially from far away. It really does capture the way that light reflects off of the water. Yeah, I was really taken by this piece. What do you think about it?
yeah, I love it. It's just like you said, really darling, really sweet. It's just like I guess they're geese, ducks, swans, some sort of waterfowl. Um, they're really sweet, and to me, it feels like very, even though they're small babies, it feels like very autumn because every time I've been going down to the Bosque recently, like there are
Hmm.
just so many ducks and so many little
Yes.
families swimming around, and um, I don't know. And then right now in this time of pandemic and lockdown and not lockdown, and a lot of us working from home, I think it's like really nice to have these nature touchstones to
Yeah.
revisit. Yeah.
Well, and also like it's everything that you brought up is exactly what I'm feeling too, because I am right now living in the South Valley and it is bird season. It's really amazing. It's really cool. Like you just see these huge groups of ravens and cranes and like the ducks. And so, yeah, that was immediately what I sort of associated it with as well. But then when I was thinking a little bit more about it, like I feel like there's been a lot of like art in reflection of COVID, in
Mm-hmm.
reflection of the pandemic. And a lot of it can be very heavy and very like somewhat dark, I could say, which is totally fine. As an artist, I always want to tackle like tough issues as well. But there is something really just like comforting about a piece like this that is so pure and as you said about nature, but also the title family, like just like the whole like unit. And I feel like a lot of people are sort of returning to their families in this moment, right? Like getting more in touch with their family unit. So
Yeah.
yeah, it was resonating with me in that way.
Yeah. Oh, and then a comment we see on YouTube here is that's not a photo. No, it's not a photo. It's a painting. It's just
Yeah,
really done, very lovely, very realistic.
very realistic. It's like the perfect blend of simplicity and detail, right? And I
Yeah.
love when painters capture something and they make it look so real and they have that balance between like you can still, but especially in person, you can still really much feel like the painter's hand in this piece. Cool. Should we do one more from this
Yeah.
batch?
Let's do one more.
How fun.
So we're at about 15 minutes until the store opens. Just a reminder. So have that queued up at 6 o'clock. Ooh, this is a great one because it's on a lot of our publicity materials for
It
this year's 12 by 12.
is. It is. And I think, you know, the 12 by 12s remain anonymous, as we've mentioned before. The artist is not named until the piece is sold. But I think this artist has a very strong style that I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of people who are viewing this or a lot of people who have seen the promotional materials um, know who it is. This is oil on canvas. And let me see if I can find the um, the title of this. But what
Yeah,
are your thoughts?
I agree. I think it's not just the case with this piece, but I think we have a lot of regular contributors to 12 by 12 and a lot of people who do have a lot of visibility within Albuquerque and beyond, even internationally, who have very distinctive styles. And it's really easy to tell right off the bat, oh, I bet so-and-so did this one, or that's so-and-so's. And I would classify this piece as one of those. But yeah, I really enjoy it. I think the colors, for me, the colors are what really draws me to it.
Yeah. So this is number 14. So each of our 12 by 12s has a number associated with it that is just in terms of when the person filled out their form. But that helps us keep track of everything, and that number will also show up on the website and on the store as well. It's another way to identify the piece. This one is number 14, and the title of it is Future Visions. And like I said, it's oil on canvas. And I love what you were saying about the colors. Yeah, just those striking, the blue, the cobalt blue, and that lavender. And just that, like, the way that this artist uses the gaze of the figure, especially in tandem with the title Future Visions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I
Yeah.
agree.
I love this piece as well. I'm sure it's gonna, get snatched
I
up
think it's going to
very
be one of
quickly.
those that's right at the beginning.
Yeah. All right. Maybe we could talk about, I know both of us have been artists of 12 by 12 this year. We didn't have a chance to make a piece, but we've both exhibited as 12 by 12 artists. So I wanted to know, like, kind of about your experience as being an exhibitor.
Yeah, I thought it was really fun to do a 12 by 12. The work that I do, and you can see some of it in the background here, my work tends to be not so like it's on fabric typically. And so I think the challenge of, and it doesn't necessarily have to be on the board, but I took the challenge of doing it on a panel, and that was really fun for me. It really forced me to work in a different way, which was really exciting.
I think I'm remembering your piece from last year being like cacti, and then you individually drilled each hole, and then you like cross stitched.
Yes.
It was so stunning. And I remember me and Jordan, who Jordan works with us as well, and she's a longtime friend. We were both just like, this is so cool. We were just
Thank
at
you.
awe at your process. So
Thanks.
yeah, I think like your process that you're bringing up, and sort of what I used to do when I was when I would do 12 by 12, and I see a lot of artists doing, is taking the chance to experiment and kind of like push beyond the boundaries of what they
Mm-hmm.
normally would do. And I totally see that with your piece. And ev- I consider myself like a interdisciplinary or multimedia artist. So every year with the 12 by 12, I try to like push the medium a little bit further. And it's really funny. So one year I did a mosaic with hamas, which are the byproduct of a Japanese style of pottery making, Arita pottery, which is taught here at UNM. And if you have the chance to take that class, you should. And then the following year, I made a piece that incorporated like light bulbs, and they were very, very different from one another. But it was really funny because the same person ended up purchasing it, which was really like touching to me, because they didn't know whose it was, and I don't think by the style they could, but it sort of like gave me some reinforcement as a as an artist. And I think that's part of the fun of 12 by 12 being anonymous.
Yeah, I think that's cool too. And I think there is something interesting there where people can tell your work even if you think it's not like indicative of your normal style. I think that's
Yeah,
really cool.
cool. Maybe we should look at some more 12 by 12s.
Sure. Yes.
Let me see. Okay. Are you seeing my screen?
Yes.
All right, let's do this. Ooh, I
Ooh.
so I am let me look and see what number this is. I believe this is Encaustic. That's what I'm
Yes, it
getting.
that was my first thought when I saw it. It looks like an encaustic.
Which I have such respect for encaustic artists. I've dabbled in it when I was in school, but yeah, it just seems like a medium that is actually really difficult, but also really, really fun.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about that. I've never tried Encaustic, but I'm really interested in it, in trying it someday.
Yeah. Hold on, I'm having some difficulty bringing up exactly the title of this one. But do you have any thoughts on it?
Yeah, well, first, just the general Encaustic thoughts. I really, really enjoy it. I really love the line within it, and that tends to be like my feeling within Encaustic as well, is just like the detail in the line and the texture is always something that I really enjoy. And then once again, I really like the red on there.
Yeah.
Is really eye catching.
Yeah, so this one is number 47 on our website. So if you're looking on our website and if you're keeping notes on what you want to purchase, this one is number 47. Let me pull up the yeah, so it's encaustic with ooh, this one has so it's encaustic with gored iron pyrite and oil paint. So it has that multimedia look. And I think that's the cool thing about encaustics that I remember is that you could like layer with it and incorporate a bunch of different mediums, and it has just like this rich texture that I think this artist has captured really well. And
Yeah,
something that maybe is not as clear in like the photographing of the work, like it's always really difficult to photograph when um, pieces have different like textures in the surface, but what's in that sort of like half circle is very like textural, and then what's around it is very smooth, and that's
mm,
always so pleasing, especially with encaustics, because I know that that takes a lot of work to get it like smooth,
smooth.
and the
Yeah.
fact that there's that like that contrast, that juxtaposition between the two is really cool. Let's look at one more. Ooh, I know who
Ooh.
this is. Let me make sure. Let me pull up the title and the number.
Great. Those of you who are on Instagram, as she's pulling up uh, the number for this one, it is a piece that has a very distinctive large sunflower within it. And it just feels very, even though it's a sunflower, it feels very autumn. I guess there are sunflowers that bloom in the autumn, but I associate them with summer. But the colors are, it's very much like an autumn palette. And I think I'm feeling a lot of the same things we discussed earlier with just any pieces that are very rooted in nature right now seem to have like special significance for
Yeah,
me.
and the title of this piece is Farmers Market. And I think for me, I think of, Albuquerque
Yes,
Farmers Market.
yes.
And I think, it's just so indicative of like going there and picking up some flowers from your local flower farmer. And this number is number 45, and it is described as mixed media. So it's not necessarily clear what everything is that's going on, but this is one of those pieces that comes framed, which is always such a treat when artists like choose to frame their piece, because we provide the canvases and we provide the hardware for the pieces. So when an artist goes out of their way to frame something, it's really special. But yeah, like you were saying, like the pieces that have that natural vibe, they really are doing something really special at this moment, I think. And paired with the name of Farmers Market, to me, it's just really nostalgic.
Yeah, I agree. And I know that the downtown market did happen this year, but my partner is a farmer, and we were going to be selling at market, and we ended up not doing it. So for me, like extra this year, I really like, I love it.
Yeah. And I
Thinking of the
think
future and the past.
I think the farmers market actually happening this year was one of those things that like helped us hold on to a little bit of our routine and the things about Albuquerque that make it so special. So it was really great that that could keep going even if it was amended. But I'm looking forward to the day that we could like return to farmers markets of yore.
Yes, we are getting close to time. We're just about 4 minutes, a little less, out from the launch of the store. So if you're joining us on Instagram or on YouTube, make sure that you pop over to the store, have that ready to refresh it at 6 o'clock.
Yeah, it's so close. It's like flying by. Dani, you've bought in 12 by 12s
I
before?
have, yeah, I have a small 12 by 12 collection.
Oh.
And I have them here to share with you all. Let's see if I can do this so that it's in both cameras.
Oh, wow.
All right. So this was one that was from last year, and it is Untitled, and it's a cherry wood and ink, and it was made by Gwen Miller Wagner. And what I really love about it is you can tell it looks like it's a woodblock print for printing, and that's exactly how she used it. So I just really loved it. As I mentioned before, I'm kind of just a sucker for nature and trees. So.
But it's so interesting that you bring up the woodblock print, because a lot of times with the woodblock prints, I really enjoy like the thing that makes the artwork just as much as the artwork itself. So I think it's really cool that this piece like has that vibe.
Yeah, I agree. Find a good place to put things down. All right, and then I have this one.
Ooh, oh. I love this artist's work. It's so like...
Yes, I love it too. This is called Rabbit Brush. It's a mixed media piece by Kat Wright, who actually is I know her through my husband. She's a colleague of his. And when we purchased this piece, we did not know she was the artist. So that was always super fun. And she was really excited when she found out we were the ones who purchased this piece.
That was what I was going to ask you, was like, did you know all of them? I know that working at Harwood, you're sort of privy to some information that the public is not in regards to who painted what, but I was curious about that. So that's really cool that you purchased this piece and it ended up being somebody you know.
Yes, and I do have a pet rabbit, so this piece lives in the room with the rabbit.
Aww. The thing I love about that artist's work is just how meticulous each brushstroke is, and like the placement of the pigment and the different colors. It's beautiful.
Yeah, and I believe and maybe I shouldn't put this out there, but she was telling me that she was working on a series that were like tarot cards or something. But yeah, I love her work. And it's very distinctive. But this was the first time I had seen her work, and now since I know, I can recognize it everywhere.
Amazing. Cool.
Okay, and then I have one more here. This is also Untitled. This is Josh Atlas. And it is wood burn.
Ooh.
Yeah, so it's all these faces just burned into the wood. And what I really love is that he continued it onto the sides as well. And it's a little different from the rest of his work, actually. So I think he was kind of doing the same sort of thing that I talked about, was, experimenting with a different sort of style in the name of 12 by 12.
I know. I think a lot of artists do that, and I think that's such a cool opportunity to like be given the option of doing that. So we're at 6 o'clock. It is 6 o'clock right now. Yeah. So the store is open. Reminder that the work is for sale on the Square store, and if you are interested in multiple pieces, you might want to think about purchasing one at a time, because just because something is in your cart doesn't mean that you've necessarily purchased it.
Exactly. And so you aren't limited to purchasing tonight, but I think a lot of pieces will go. So if you have something in particular in mind, head over to the store now so that you can buy it right away. But the store will remain open. So if you want to revisit it or purchase another one, or think about purchasing some as gifts, you can definitely revisit the shop anytime. If you're on YouTube, you can check out the link. It's in the chat. If you're on Instagram, I think if you go to our profile, it's the link in the bio right now.
Link in bio, definitely. Awesome. Well, thank you for hanging out with us. And Dani, thank you for talking with me about 12 by 12. It was really fun.
Thank you, Helen. That was fun. Awesome. And I hope that you'll be able to make one next year.
Oh yeah, definitely. All right. Cheers.
Cheers.
Awesome.
All right. Okay.